Okay, so you're telling me that once upon a time, a 5 out of 10 meant average. But in 2026, average is dead. And any game that scores below 85 is treated like a disaster. At what point in the gaming industry was a 7 ever considered a failure? How many games that we enjoyed, that we actually had fun with, that scored a 7, never got a sequel greenlit, or never got a fully fledged franchise because it scored a 7? Let's talk about it. This is the lowKEY POV, and welcome to the Key Circle. Now let's start off with the tyranny of the Metacritic median. The 7 out of 10 has replaced the 5 out of 10 as the baseline, and audiences now see anything below 85 as broken, buggy, or unworthy. And Metacritic is no exception. For example, Crimson Desert's 78 reviewer score in March 2026 wiped out 30% of Pearl Abyss's stocks, despite the game being a financial success and having strong player engagement. Investors saw the 78 score as a red flag. So what does this mean? That the perception of average has shifted so much that a perfect score, or should I say a perfectly average score of 78, can trigger a massive financial penalty. And this is the power that review scores actually have on games. Because a lot of us as gamers, we rely on reviewers to make an informed decision on whether or not the game is worth it or not. But I've always said, make your own opinion, form your own opinion on a game, because one person's opinion might not carry over to the next. But yet we put a lot of weight behind what reviewers say. And look, if it helps you, it helps you. But there's also been a psychological shift. Players now equate anything below an 85 with broken. Then you have Steam and console algorithms as well that bury games that don't hit overwhelmingly positive immediately. So basically, if you're not a 9, you are invisible. Then you got the economic trap of the AAA bloat, right? Budgets for AAA games are now regularly, they basically exceed $300 million, making a modest success impossible. It's insane how much these budgets have exploded. AAA games now start as a bare minimum at $300 million, with GTA 6 rumored to be $1 billion. Now, I'm not sure if that is absolutely true, but if that is true, that is insane. So if you do the break-even math on this, at $70 per copy, a $300 million game must sell 6 to 10 million units just to recuperate the costs. And that is why we're seeing so many games fail, because it costs too much to make. So the result is you're seeing the AA titles, or should I say the middle market for AA titles, they have vanished, or they are in the process of dying out. Investors demand either a 10 out of 10 prestigious title, or they want a $1 billion live service game. This is the reality. We've seen PlayStation's strategy just pushing out continuous brain rot live service content, even though the players are showing that this is not what they want. Then you have consumerizing expectations. Consumers are consistently expecting photorealism and 100-hour runtimes that is forcing studios to abandon experimental mid-budget gameplay. So the middle ground has collapsed under the weight of the blockbuster ambition. Then you have the live service life sentence. Now developers can't afford to release a finished 6 out of 10 standalone anymore because it has high failure rates. If you look at 52 games, right, that shut down in the first half of 2026 alone, including High Guard, which closed only after 45 days. And The Cube, Save Us, did in 7 weeks. So it's an all or nothing stakes environment. If a live service isn't a cultural phenomenon, it shuts down within months. Then we have the battle for time. The battle isn't just for money, but it's for players' time. Daily quests and battle passes, it basically dominates the gaming industry, leaving good enough standalone 6 out of 10s being ignored. And that is, again, another problem. We are grinding away 75 to 150 hours per season on a battle pass just to complete it, that everything else gets ignored. So in the forever game era, there is no room for one and done adventures. Then you have the homogenization of design, where the fear of a 5 out of 10 score leads to a safe design, where you have checklist gameplay over risky artistic vision. Rising costs are stifling creativity. Former PlayStation exec Sean Layden warns that $300 million budgets force publishers into safe derivative genres, such as Space Marine, Zombie Apocalypse, and Medieval Swords. Now, when Layden warns about Space Marines and Zombie Apocalypse, he's not saying that those games can't be great. Space Marine 2 proves that they can. He's saying that the industry relies too heavily on safe templates, sanding down risks and quirks in favor of predictable formulas. So the problem isn't the genre itself, but the fear of stepping outside of it. And we've reached a point where flaws aren't tolerated, not bugs but quirks. So the weird mechanics, the awkward charm, the risk that made cult classics memorable, instead studios apply the prestigious paint, right? And what this means is they give you cinematic graphics, motion captured performances, and hyper-realistic visuals to cover up the shallows of the safe mechanics. And I mean, this is what we've seen with PlayStation. The same old formula time and time again. And I mean, if it's not broke, why fix it? But I guess they are trying to fix it now by doing so many live service games that nobody asked for. But anyway, so we traded personality for polish and lost the soul of gaming. But here's what we as gamers need to do. We need to reclaim the value of the flawed gem. The industry desperately needs the 7 out of 10 banger to survive. For example, like Robocop, Rogue City. That was a 7 out of 10 banger that had to survive. Crimson Desert is a 7 out of 10 banger. We need games like this to survive. Indies are hitting differently in 2026. That proves that niche appeal and specific flaws can succeed. So you have the indie resilience. Breakout hits like Peak, 10 million copies from a $5 jam game. You have Schedule I, 8 million copies with 125 million revenue. And Mini the Howler with 91% Metacritic rating. It's rated as a must play. This proves that niches can work. Indie games now account for 25 to 48% of the Steam revenue, showing sustainability outside of AAA games. And that is what I've seen a lot of engagement on my recent videos is that indie games is where it is at. Because AAAs have continuously disappointed us, many gamers are turning to the indie landscape and they're finding that gaming is still alive within these titles. So we need a mindset shift. Players must learn to value creative risks and embrace the 7 out of 10 banger as essential for innovation. Because sometimes the imperfect gem shines brighter than the flawless diamond. So here's the question. Do we want a future of 9 out of 10s that all feel the same, or a world where the quirky 7 out of 10 banger gets its chance to thrive? And maybe it's time to stop fearing the average and maybe start celebrating it. But with that being said, guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's get talking. What are your thoughts on the 7 out of 10? Do you think there's no more room for the 7 out of 10s in the gaming industry today, in the current landscape of how things are going? Or do you think we absolutely need it? Tell me, let me know. What are you currently playing? Have you moved away from AAAs and more into the indie sphere? Or do you have a mixture of both? Or are you still holding on to hope for AAA? Now don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, AAA, there are still very good AAA titles. But if you look at the pattern, most great AAA titles today come from indie developers. Baldur's Gate 3, Expedition 33, The Witcher 3, yes, The Witcher 3 made them into the studio that they are today. So think about it. Let me know your thoughts down below. I would really get to know your thoughts and feelings about this. And again, guys, we've reached 500 subscribers. So grateful for it. I really appreciate it. So continue hitting that like button. It's free. It helps the channel. It helps me. It gives me more motivation to make videos like these. And to everybody else, become a part of the Key Circle and hit that subscribe button. And until the next video, happy gaming, take care of yourself, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.